Welcome back to Adrian's Avenue, where we're here to help you make better decisions for a better life. And today is no exception. We're going to talk about some difficult things that may have come into your life, hopefully not, but these are financial disasters that could happen where you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, living the life that you're supposed to be living. However, sometimes life happens and there are some difficult financial situations that'll happen to you. We're going to gear you up with some things that will help you get through these financial disasters. The first one I want to talk about is the loss of a job. Not every situation of job loss is caused by an employee not performing up to par. That's not the case. We know of companies shutting down, companies laying off people that have been performing perfectly fine, been getting great raises and everything, but because of the financial situation of the company, they have to cut back. They may have to let people go. Sometimes they call it right sizing. They may ask you to move to another area and it just doesn't work out for you. So you're in a situation where you have to look for another job. And we know for something like this, the best thing that you can do for yourself is have that emergency fund. That is your insurance, is your emergency fund. It may be 3 months, it may be 6 months. And if you see something may be happening, you may want to stack up more money in this emergency fund, but because it will help you get through those times where you're looking for a job or you're in between jobs. Especially you want to look at if your field that you're in, your career, is something that maybe companies are shutting down, or maybe your skill sets are being turned over to the computer or AI. Look for signs like that. That way you may know that your job may be in danger. And sometimes it just hits you just by surprise. You don't know it's coming. And it doesn't matter whether you're on, the first line or if you're in the VP area. Sometimes you don't know these things are going to happen because people above you are making these decisions and not letting you know. But to protect yourself, an emergency fund will come into play. I know a few people that are turning their emergency funds that was maybe 3 months into 6 months emergency funds. Some of them are turning into 9-month emergency funds because they just don't know what's going to happen. So take a look at the money that you have saved up. It'll help you make those monthly payments of the bills that you have coming in and your obligations. Keep food on the table, keep shelter, keep transportation, just keep the things that you need in order to live on a daily basis. And when this happens, you may want to cut back on the things such as cable, something that may not be necessary. You just go to the bare minimum and work with that. But an emergency fund is your key. It's your key insurance policy in this situation of a job loss. Now, the second type of major financial disaster that could possibly happen to you, probably not probable, but is your total house loss. If something would come through, a weather event such as tornadoes, and just wipe out your whole house, or if there's a fire that your whole house gets damaged or devastated in, these are some things that could possibly happen. I've seen them happen to friends of mine. I was a member of a church, or am a member of a church, and the church actually burnt down because of an electrical wire. So this is something that happens and you get caught off guard. You don't know what to do. But if you have homeowners insurance, if you have insurance on whatever property that you have there, it will come into play and it will help with that situation. So you want to make sure you are insured properly, the right amounts to rebuild the structure, whatever the structure is, rebuild that structure so that you can have, even if it's an office building that you have that you own, you want to have insurance on that. If it's your house, you want to have insurance on that. If it's a rental property, you want to have insurance on that. That will help with this situation because this could be a major financial disaster for you. If something burns down and it's not insured and you don't know how you're going to replace it, the value of insurance will come into play then because you are transferring your risk of whatever it is that you probably cannot replace readily to an insurance company for them to do it. And for that, you pay a monthly premium or an annual premium, whatever you pay on it. So it's money well spent. and it's money for peace of mind because you can sleep at night, because this is a major devastation to you. This is a life-changing interruption. You have to have somewhere to stay. Also, these insurances will provide a place for you to stay. Like if you have to move somewhere else for a few months, up to a year or so, depending on your policy, they will pay for you to live somewhere else while your structure is being rebuilt at that point in time. So make sure you have the proper insurance on your homeowner, on your home. Go check it right now to make sure you're fully covered. Talk to your insurance agent to make sure you're fully covered with what you need to lessen the effect of this major financial disaster. Now, this next one we've probably experienced not necessarily as a major disaster, but I know I've had some experience with it, and that is health insurance. You want to make sure you have health insurance. There are so many people, you all, that do not have health insurance. So if something were to happen, they go to a clinic, and then if something major were to happen, such as if they needed to have some type of surgery right away, or if one of the diseases hit them that they needed care for, and the medication is super expensive, they don't have the coverage for that. And so you want to make sure you have health insurance to cover it. Now, we know using your health insurance policy, most of the times it's not going to cover everything. You're going to come out of pocket with some things. But when it comes to surgery, if you've ever had a surgery before, just to get the anesthesia to put you under, and the room alone can go up into the tens of thousands of dollars, if not the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if they have to keep you for a period of time. And some of these medications, you all, some of the pills are very, very expensive. Like some pills, one pill could cost up anywhere from $1,000 up into the tens of thousands of dollars for some of these pills, depending on the type of disease that they're trying to treat. So health insurance is critical, and it can drain your bank account like nothing else. You can be sitting fine with plenty of money in the bank. A health situation hits you, you don't have the proper health insurance, and you can see the money just going down and down and down, because the hospitals, the doctors, anyone who works on you, they want to get paid. So health insurance will come into play at some time in your future, probably. And so you want to make sure you have the right coverages. It's expensive. Sometimes once you start getting older, health insurance becomes more expensive. But if you're at your job, more than likely, make sure you tap into that health insurance, because it's on a group policy. And with that, you can get coverage. I know the veterans, they have great health insurance. Normally, they don't pay for a lot, if any at all, when they go to see the doctors. And so this is a good thing for the veterans, and they deserve it 100%. They've put their lives on the line for us, and so they deserve everything that they get as a veteran or someone who used to be in the military. But health insurance is so critical, because this is probably the #1 way that will eat up your finances. I don't care how much money you have. You can be a millionaire, a multimillionaire. If you don't have proper health insurance, it will eat your finances up. So make sure we have the correct health insurance that we need. Get with your insurance agent and see what you can do about your health insurance. And if you are actually insurable, keep that health insurance. Keep paying on that policy. You don't want it to lapse. You don't want it to go away. Pay on that policy and lessen the expenses if this disaster comes into your life also. Now, I know this is a heavy topic, but it's something that we need to discuss. Everything is not just save and don't spend and be on a budget. There are some things that we need to talk about, because they are real life events. And with that said, I would like for you to hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information as I am releasing it. And make a comment and share this video out with as many people as you can. I do want to let you know you want to stay to the end of this video, because I have a bonus tip that will actually help you save money and avoid a major financial disaster. Now, this next one is something that probably some of us may have experienced already, and it's the loss of a car. And of course, with car insurance, this will help you with that. If, for instance, a hailstorm comes through and it just beats your car up, if you're at work and it's in the parking lot, there's nothing you can do. You can just look out the window and see the hail pounding on your car. And so it could be ruled a total loss. And if that is the case, you want insurance on it so that you can go out and get another car so that your transportation won't be interrupted. You can have the coverages on your policy where you can get use a rental vehicle until you get the one that you're actually going to purchase and buy. But for something like this, these cars, with the average car costing about $45,000, that will be a major dent in anybody's banking account if they have to pull that money out because they didn't have the insurance to cover the car that they just had a loss on. So take care of these cars, take care of the insurance that you need. And I know sometimes it's painful paying that premium every month, every 6 months, once a year, however you're doing it. But it can help you sleep at night to know that if something happens to your car, what if somebody steals your car? It doesn't have to be a hailstorm. It could be a total theft. They can't recover it. Or what if they recover it and they've done so much damage, pulled seats out and just torn up the car to the point where it would be more advantageous to just buy another car than to try to repair the car that you have. And so these are other situations that could happen to you, but this is a major financial disaster for you. And insurance is your first line of defense on that. So check with your insurance agent. I know I'm talking a lot about insurance, but this is what insurance comes into play to cover those major things and transfer that risk over to someone else that either you don't want to carry on yourself or it's going to be a major dent in your financial future, your current financial situation when these things happen and you just don't have the money to dig out of that. Comprehensive coverage, collision coverage, of course, liability, because you don't want to also get into an accident and you don't have the proper coverages that you caused the accident. However, you hit a Mercedes, you hit a Bentley, you hit some high-priced car, and now they're looking to you to pay for the damages that you're liable for. So we want to make sure we're covered on every end when it comes to that. So get that car insurance checked with your insurance agent. Now this fifth one, right before I give you the bonus one, is about major appliances. If something were to happen to your AC unit, if something were to happen to your refrigerator, if something were to happen to various components of your house, such as the hot water heater, you want to have something in place perhaps to cover that. Most people, they buy a house and it's called a home warranty, but it's actually a service agreement where you get with the company and you pay an annual fee. It may be anywhere from $500 to $700 a year. But what will happen if something were to happen to any of these appliances that you have covered that's written in that contract, they will actually come out and either repair or replace that appliance. I have had that happen when I had a rent house a couple of years ago. I had a warranty, home warranty, a service agreement on that particular property. The water heater went out. I got a brand new water heater for the fee for them just to come out and look at it, which was about a $50 fee for them to come out. But I got a brand new water heater for that. There are some things that you will have to pay for, because one thing that I did have to pay for, in all transparency, for this water heater, it was sitting outside of the unit in another closet. And so the actual platform that it was on needed to be replaced. So I had to pay to replace that. But I got a water heater, which they're up in the thousands of dollars now, that was totally replaced because I had that service agreement on the house. So this is one way that you can protect yourself from major disasters, from major things happening to your house that you may not have the money to just go out and replace them. But it's an annual fee. You renew it every year and they will come out. And like I said, for a fee, they will either service it, repair it, or either they will replace it. And if it comes to the point where it's not repairable and it needs to be replaced, you're in great shape, because that fee that you've paid, it's paid for itself. But this is something that not a lot of people know about unless they're purchasing a home, but you can get it on your current home. This is another way that you can protect yourself from some major damage, because it could go up into the thousands of dollars if this happens to you. So check these two things out to help you from major disasters. Now, for the bonus tip that I will give you that has already saved me tons of money, I'm in the process, I'm in the process, if you've been watching me for a while, of finding me a car as well. I'm in the process of finding my parents a car. And of course, I'm looking in the used as well as new for myself. And then I'm looking in the used area for them, because I do believe in buying a good used car. They're older and they don't need anything really, really new, but I am in the market for doing that. Two things that I'm using to do this. I am using someone who is actually negotiating whatever car that we find. He will actually go out, help me find the car, negotiate the deal, talk to the people. I don't talk to anyone. I'm there to test drive and do that type of thing. If I like the car, he'll go and negotiate the price that I want to pay. And number two, what I'm using too is a pre-purchase car inspector. You guys, this has saved me money. I paid the fee to have this done because there was one particular car I was looking at for my parents, of course, and I'm not a mechanic. I don't know. One thing that I did wrong is I went to look at the car when it was raining outside. That was mistake number one. It was raining and cold, but we had set it up. I wanted to try to find this car. I was kind of in a bit of a rush. And so I made the mistake of doing that. I drove the car. My dad drove the car. It drove okay. But I started questioning the guy. Of course, you couldn't see all what the body damage or the major dings or anything. I didn't look at the tires carefully or anything like that. And but I did hire, because it's like, okay, it looks like it's okay. It drives okay. Let's see if we want to buy this car. We got the price to where we wanted it. And so we called in the guy to actually inspect the car. He went out. He did a full inspection on this car. It was well worth the money I spent on the car to get it inspected. And in Texas, it's running anywhere from like $175 to $250. It's the best money that you will actually spend. He found so much wrong with this vehicle. Number one, it had 4 different tires on it. Some of the tires were, well, only one tire was brand new. The other tires were going to have to be placed. It had a fuel pump leak. It had engine leaks. It had codes that the engine had gone through a couple of times that was leading to more engine problems. He found dents that I didn't find on it. It was just well worth it. This guy was trying to pass this car off on us for, a certain amount of money, and it would have cost me or my parents more money in repairs once we bought the car. It drove okay and it looked okay, but it just was not the car for us. And one thing we did not want to do was buy someone else's problem. So I would tell you, as a bonus tip, to keep you from a minor financial disaster. But let's say if we would have bought the car, it would have cost me or cost my parents $5,000 to $6,000 more in repairs for this car and the breaking down. We want something reliable for them, and I don't want to worry about that. So that was absolutely the best money I ever could have spent on purchasing a used vehicle. So keep that in mind. Sometimes the person that is doing the negotiation can look at a few things, but he suggested get the car inspected. And with his suggestion, I went ahead. I'm like, I'm not buying any used car without having one of these guys go out. They used to be called, some of them were called lemon busters and stuff like that, but have them go out, look at the car, give you a full report. He writes it down, give you a full report so you know exactly what he saw. And, he doesn't tell you how much it's going to cost to get fixed, but he leaves that up to you. But if there's too much, when he starts talking about, well, we saw this, it's like, whoa, that's way too much. Send me the report. I'm not purchasing this vehicle. So that's a bonus point for you. Hopefully all these tips have been helpful to you. Use them as you will. This is a heavy topic, as we've said, but you can still win and do the best you can if these financial disasters come into your life.